Mr. President, I now invite you to address our Assembly.
Thank you very much. Slava Ukraini!
Glory to Ukraine, glory to heroes.
You said, welcome home. Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, Madam Secretary General, honorable members of the Assembly, dear friends. First of all, thank you for supporting us, supporting Ukraine. Your support has been strong, clear, very important. In many ways, you have shown real leadership. Your clear political positions calling Russia's actions a crime of aggression, supporting a just end to the war, and rejecting any attempt to legitimize the Russian occupation of our Ukrainian territories have helped shape the political response of all of Europe. You have set the standard for every democratic nation across the continent. Thank you for that. Thank you. Since, yeah, please. Thank you. Since the start of the full-scale invasion more than 3 years ago, the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe has adopted almost 30 resolutions in support of Ukraine. The Council of Europe was the first major international organization to expel Russia for its aggression. You made it clear the attack on Ukraine is an attack on all of Europe. And that's exactly what it is. It's a war against our shared way of life, a way of life that changed Europe for the better. Europe was once the source of many bloody wars and brutal ideologies that caused huge suffering, not just here, but around the world. Not long ago, in just 1 century, Europe brought itself to ruin, and brought it twice. The devastation was total both times, but Europe learned its lessons. It rebuilt itself as a continent of peace. And today Europe helps others find peace and recover from tragedy. It defends international law and human rights around the world. Europe also shows the world how nations can respect each other even after a difficult and painful shared history. And these achievements didn't come by accident. They are not only the result of political will or public opinion, though those played a huge part. These changes also came from the right choices by leaders and the sincere beliefs of people across Europe. And of course, they are also the result of the work of European institutions like the Council of Europe and this Parliamentary Assembly that unite the continent. And importantly, they are also the result of Europe's commitment to justice, to holding evil accountable not just by force, but by law, by courts, by verdicts based on proven guilt. And we all remember that tribunal that brought justice after the horrors of Nazism. And the world will never forget Nuremberg, years later, when hate and war returned to part of Europe. Another tribunal was needed, this time for the crimes in the former Yugoslavia. And again, Europe and its partners made sure justice was done in The Hague. Now we need the same for Russia's aggression against Ukraine. This crime must be judged clearly and fairly. The world needs an honest historic verdict, so everyone responsible for this war must be held to account. And not just because of what we all see happening in Ukraine, but through a proper legal process. It was here, in this assembly, that the first call for such a tribunal was made. The idea was endorsed here, and now it's gaining real support from partner countries in Europe and beyond. And I also want to thank the members of the Committee of Ministers who took a vote and supported the decision on establishing the special tribunal. Thank you. And yes, thank you. Yes, there is still a long road ahead, and really we know it. Today's agreement to create the tribunal is just the beginning, and now we must take real steps to make it work. And it will take strong political and legal cooperation to make sure every Russian war criminal faces justice, including Putin. And this is the path we must walk all the way to real charges and real verdicts. And I urge you to stay involved and keep leading, just as you have done so far. Some people, and understandably so, ask, what can a tribunal really do? Wouldn't it be better to focus entirely on weapons, technologies, and drones? Of course, military support for Ukraine, tough sanctions against Russia, political pressure on the aggressor are all essential. And these are the things that make Russia feel the true cost of this war. And yes, the aggressor must lose. And we are working on that. Ukrainian lives must be protected. And I thank everyone who supports our defense. But justice matters too. And it must work so that war criminals have nowhere to hide. Not in Europe, not anywhere. Justice must work in a way that makes it clear to anyone planning such crimes of aggression, that accountability is certain. And justice must work in a way that sets a legal principle: no rewards for aggression. That's why the crime of aggression must be recorded, judged, and punished. The Hague, perfect venue for it. The Hague is waiting for justice to be delivered. Thank you to everyone who is making that happen. Thank you. Thank you all. Merci à vous. Slava Ukraini.
Glory to Ukraine. Thank you.